We got a new color purple.
A beautiful Celie.
What that supposed to mean? What we saying? All right, okay. Fantasia shines in the color purple musical remake trailer. We're gonna show the trailer. It's loading up for.
I'm loading up for you.
Oh, what you loading up for me?
You have a lot of smoke for the color purple. Nigga said color purple.
What's the difference?
The color purple.
What's the difference?
It's a difference.
All right, hold on. Let me sorry y'all. Get this in order. Share screen. Sorry y'all, hold on. We got how to do this. Window. What, nigga? All right, we're ready now. Hold on. Y'all should see this.
Can y'all see the screen?
Let me just take this off the screen right quick.
Well, we'll know because Eastwood the only one that'll say something.
All right, let me just show the trailer for the new color purple.
Mr. is now a tether. He's no longer a Black American. Yeah.
I try to move it.
And he's part of that alphabet group.
You said what?
He's a tether, and he's a part of that alphabet group.
That's a long way from who played her before. What's his name?
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
He know better. He part of that Pan-Africanist.
No, he's part of that Santeria religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's part of that.
It's Dominican. The guy is Dominican.
Yeah, he's Dominican.
Afro-Dominican.
Even if we have to part, you and me.
Oh.
Us have.
And
they got big plans for Halle Berry.
I'm about to say
Bailey.
Hey, the Bailey, the both of them. They're kind of being pushed.
She's being pushed more though.
She's been pushed in more of the acting sphere.
Yeah.
The other one is pushed in the musical sphere, being signed to Beyonce and all the other stuff.
She's more like Beyonce as far as innocence in the beginning, and Chloe's acting out the older stage of Beyonce. But I would watch out for Haley more than Chloe.
I think I didn't know.
Nigga, let the trailer play.
Listen, the original character who played her. What's her name in the movie?
She was Ghanaian.
She
was John Singleton's baby mama.
Let's show the whole trailer.
Shout out to Fantasia, one of North Carolina's finest. I love Fantasia.
What up, Jay Henderson?
Oh, give us a shout out to Sassy Shantae. Hey, fam. Jay Henderson, shout out to him. Hey, fam. Regina, oh my God, these remakes are so unnecessary. On the other hand, though, I now realize it's a part of the reset.
I'm so glad you said that. Reset.
Eastwood, they out here trying to align us with African tethers. Knowing delineation is movement.
Mm-hmm.
These remakes are never as good or better than the original. It looks okay though.
Oh, look at you!
Because I think it's more of a musical.
Let me make sure I point out once again.
I think it's because it's Fantasia. That's why I'm more soft on it.
Let me say that I do know Fantasia's some of her public beliefs that I support. I don't know if y'all know some of her beliefs that she's spoken on the last decade or so.
As far as what?
Her beliefs on Black people, who we are, and all that stuff. So I want to trust.
Dude, she's in the industry.
Let me finish what I'm saying. I want to trust that there's at least one person in the industry that has some level of integrity where they wouldn't accept a role that would go against their core beliefs. But I guess I'll be heartbroken again.
Fantasia is in the industry.
Yeah,
she's done what she has to do to be in the industry. It is what it is. We can say we like her, but it is what it is. Oh, one more. Regina. Most of the Black Hollywood weird is tethered. Very few FBA exist there. Just found out earlier today. True. For CCH, Pounder is Ghanese. Yep. Okay, Regina. Facts say Shantae. And why would the remake? White man can't jump.
Oh, that's
crazy. We're about to go into that next.
So you see right here, the new adaptation of Alice Walker's novel in the 1985 film will premiere in North America on December 25th, on Christmas too. Now, the original Color Purple obviously was very, very controversial. I know a lot of people like to reinvent history now and make it seem like it was never controversial. Only in the modern last decade or so has it became a movie that people demonize. But even back in the 80s, there were people wanting this movie out of movie theater, didn't want this movie to go public. But anyway, growing up, and this might not be the best thing, Lord, this might not be the best thing, but growing up, The Color Purple was a comedy to us.
It was.
We used to
You told Hoppo to beat
like
me.
we used to take quotes from this movie and use them throughout regular everyday life for jokes
to make fun.
We never saw this movie having the impact it has as far as politically or socially on the Black community, as far as relationships and such. And maybe we over exaggerate its importance or impact, but I don't think we do. I think The Color Purple had a very, very impactful negative impact on the Black community as far as the imagery and such, and the storyline that they pushed in the movie as far as what they deemed to be normal in the early 1900s in the South amongst Black people. So
Jay Henderson, I don't normally drop pronouns, but Jay is joy. I am she.
Oh, I'm sorry. Joy Henderson, apologies.
Yeah.
So
put some respect on the missus.
Oprah Winfrey and Steven Spielberg have reunited and revived The Color Purple into a movie musical directed by Blitz Bazawule. I don't know how you say that. After the debuting footage of distributors in CinemaCon last month, Warner Brothers has released the first trailer for the new adaptation, which is set to premiere in North America on Christmas. Yada yada yada.
You know,
go ahead.
I'm surprised that they're gonna get Cynthia Erivo.
I think because of
she's in the musical because Harriet Tubman, the controversy behind it.
I think they didn't do it because of that reason.
Yeah.
Now they did do a musical for The Color Purple. I think it was in the UK a couple years ago.
They've done several.
Well, I know that it's a constant thing, but there was a big one. There was a big one they did a few years ago. So I kind of saw a remake coming. Now I've seen people say that they're kind of going more of the musical route in this one.
Yeah,
more of the musical, more like the play, and not following the movie as much.
Yeah,
but we know there's gonna be certain things that's still gonna be in the movie. So
well, you saw him putting the ass out. So
well, are they gonna put everything that was in the movie in this movie?
Or everything they didn't put in the movie that was in the book? Because Suge and Celie was supposed to be.
Yeah. They kind of put it in there. They insinuated.
Yeah.
Anyway, y'all get the point. It's coming out. A lot of people against it. Now I want to show. There's this article. Hopefully this shows.
Eastwood said, I want to see the remake of Titanic starring Michael B. Jordan. Oh, hell no. That's too many words and lines for him.
Why y'all keep pushing this narrative that Michael B. Jordan can't act?
Well, they push a narrative that I can't read, so I push a narrative that Michael B. Jordan can't act.
Okay, so this right here is an article from 1986. The Color Purple is blacked out, where a whole bunch of leaders were basically against this movie being pushed out and all this stuff. Now, this is another article from 1986. It says, some people say, this is from 1986. Some people say The Color Purple is only a movie, but many Black people disagree. No, it's not just a movie, says Nate Clay in the interview. It is a statement made out of context used as a pretext to make one more lick at society rejects. Mr. Clay is an editor at the Chicago Metro News, a weekly Black-owned newspaper. Are there any more Black-owned newspapers?
Regina and Eastwood or George. Shout out to George. George has arrived fashionably late.
You said what?
Do y'all know any Black newspapers that are still out and about? Shout out to Brilliantly Flawed.
What up?
The Baltimore native.
Okay, you still doing it.
Be more.
So in the living rooms and taverns and radio shows and newspaper columns and community forums in many parts of the country, Black men and Black women are arguing about the movie's depiction of Black men and its possible repercussions. At the film's premiere in Los Angeles, December 18th, dozens of pickets marched outside the theater. On a chilly Tuesday night in Chicago recently, nearly 1,000 Blacks crammed into the Progressive Community Church for a heated discussion on the film. And Friday night, more than 200 people in New York filled the Fellowship Hall at St. James Presbyterian Church in Harlem for a similar exchange. No media vehicle since Roots has caused this kind of dialogue. Observed Chuck Sutton hosted a program on the subject last week. And it's funny to compare this movie to Roots because it was fiction as well. Roots was a story written by a white man who a Black man plagiarized and made into a movie and then got sued and lost.
Yep.
Roots is not real. There was no Kunta Kinte. It doesn't exist.
There might have been somebody over there named Kunta Kinte.
Hey, okay. And there's more. There might be more people now named Kunta Kinte than before that movie.
How many Negroes named their kids Kunta Kinte?
There might be more now than before that movie. But anyway, the movie, directed by Steven Spielberg and based in a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Alice Walker, tells the story of Celie, a Black woman.
Regina said, No major ones here in the Pacific Northwest, just local.
Okay.
The facts.
So it says many black women defend the film, saying it accurately reflects their own experience or experience of women they know. Many black men and some black women contend that it leaves a misleading picture of blacks in America and distorts their history. Oprah Winfrey hosted a television show, talk show Chicago, who says Sophia, Celie's stepdaughter-in-law in the movie, said the movie is trying to represent the history of black people in the country any more than The Godfather was trying to represent the history of Italian Americans. In this case, it's one woman's story. Many women say it's also their story. Thomas, a telephone company employee in Chicago, says she knew many Celies when she grew up in Sunflower County, Mississippi. She, her mother, and her aunts were all beaten and otherwise brutalized by their husbands. Ms. Thompson, the movie said, just lifted a burden. Black women should not be sacrificed for black women's pride. Let the film roll. Arguments heard before. All right, so what you think? So you know, for the most part, we all against remakes. But after seeing the trailer,
I think it's more of a musical, so it's fine with me.
So you're okay with this movie being released?
Yeah, I ain't gonna go see it. So
you're not gonna go see it, but you're okay with it existing.
I'm okay with it being out there existing.
You don't think this is
far more worse things?
You don't think that after this movie was released, and maybe possibly some of the things, the images being painted in this movie are starting to wear off, and now it's trying to reprogram it again for the next generation? You think
it's starting to wear off?
Maybe. I'm asking the question. Do you think this is part of a reprogramming for the younger generation?
Maybe so, but I don't see where it's worn off. They still battling it out on social media.
I'm not talking about the gender war thing. I'm talking about imagery. Maybe now you could say that there's a lot more black people with platforms now, that those things can't easily survive as easy as it used to.
Eastwood said musical or not, it's still anti-black.
You agree?
I would have to see it to know that it was anti-black.
Well, it's based off a book that we know is, right?
God damn, I don't know if it's just like the book.
Wait, it has to be just like it to be a negative?
No, dude. It don't have to be just like it to be a negative.
All right, so y'all hear it here first.
I feel like I have to watch it for analytical purposes. Thank you, Sassy Shantae. Brilliantly flawed, goofy ass remixes.
All right, let me show one more thing. I'm gonna show now this person I'm about to show next was what the hell?
Regina said, I didn't realize it's considered a musical. Still enough with the remakes.
I agree. I'm
so
not.
It's okay to lynch us in a musical.
Well, hey, is he lying?
Sometimes we use the word lynching a little.
When we use the word wrong,
sometimes.
When we use lynching wrong. Now this right here was another. I'm not even gonna read this Twitter thing. I don't care about the Twitter argument. I'm gonna play this video by James Baldwin. A couple of black quote unquote leaders came out against this movie as well. This is James Baldwin and what he had to say about Color Purple.
I've never seen The Great Gatsby. Duke has seen The Great Gatsby, but I haven't.
Yeah, I have.
Remake The Cosbys.
Wouldn't that be something?
I'm just gonna change my name to Sassy at this point. Sassy Travis.
All right, let me just play this reaction by James Baldwin.
The Color Purple is, of course, the most controversial of these books or movies. And the only way I can answer that question is to say that, well, the movie I thought the movie was awful, really. And in the movie, I felt that if you're going to give me that particular man, that black man, then you got to tell me more about him. You know, I can quite see, black men that can do all those things, but then there's got to be something wrong with them. And you'd have to let me know something more than the catalog of this man's brutality. If he were white, then he would be, Paul Newman were playing that cat. You realize he was very, very sick, and he'd have all your sympathy. You'd hope he'd get well.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, first off, do you like the idea that every time we do stuff like this, we always compare it to another race and how they would be treated in the same scenario?
It's just natural instinct for black people at this point. Every time there's a comparison, they have to go to white people. And
speaking of the character, speaking about Mr., do you think that in that movie, Color Purple, he was shown to be a full person? or just a caricature? I feel like he was just a character in the movie.
Mister?
Yeah. He was just Mr. Badman. That's it.
Yeah.
He really didn't have any depth to his character whatsoever. The closest thing we get to the depth of his character was his father. Now, we still planning on doing a breakdown of the movie Color Purple. But one of the things I came to understand was
take a long time.
One of the things I came to think was I remember the person who wrote this book and people who had a part in this movie, Alice Walker, they were what they call intersectional feminists. And part of their beliefs is that in America, black men are not men. Black men are not full men in America. They were not allowed to be. And that all the things that black men develop in their community as masculinity, or what they call now toxic masculinity, comes from Caucasian men. So you'll notice in the movie Color Purple, you have Mr. and you have his father who is very much lighter than him. And that's not extreme, but his father is much lighter than him. And I always thought, was Mr.'s father supposed to be a stand-in for a white man? And what we were supposed to see at that moment that Mr. got his brutality from a white man?
Maybe so.
That's just something I thought.
But the black image is very, very different. All you got to do in order to do that is be black. Well, it's an image of black people which is not entirely Alice Walker's fault. That is the way the Republic has seen black people, black men, since they've heard of black men.
And a lot of these people, I'm going to stop right there. A lot of these people that were quote unquote thought leaders and all this stuff for us in the 60s up until like the 90s, most of them moved to, speaking of Tina Turner earlier, because she said she was not doing the movie Color Purple.
Exactly.
She said she wasn't doing it. Now, whatever the reason she said she wasn't doing it, that's up for discussion. People say some things are lies and truth, whatever, I don't know. But a lot of the people who were around that time left the country and went to Europe. So during that time, the narrative became that only America is racist. Only America is that racist. Now we're seeing that it's pretty worldwide.
It's not the case. But
they still painted the narrative that it was just America. So including James Baldwin. He moved over to Europe as well. He was one of these people, another one of these people that was talking black, but, sleeping white.